mic?
The dial on the top of the box. Turn it all the way up. There you go.
Tues headed back.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
How y'all doing today? My name is Eric. I'm the keeper here at KRZ. And you may be seeing this creature here and saying, what is that? I've never seen something with such a tubular shape. It's so cool. Well, our lead keeper, Kat, here, gave a talk on Sunday about what exactly is a snake. And there's a lot more interesting information in that talk than you may think. And then, of course, one of our lovely interns, Mars, gave a talk yesterday about snake reproduction. So if you're interested in how these tubes make more tubes with their tubes, then you can check that out too. So we're going to be giving talks each day of this week because, of course, it is Snake Week. And so I'm going to be giving a talk today about mimicry. And, of course, there's a special reason why I brought out Condiment here, because she is a Nelson's milk snake. And she is actually mimicking a different kind of snake. Can anybody give any guesses as to what kind of snake that may be? It's a venomous snake. Cat has a guess?
A rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake? No.
Okay.
It is not a rattlesnake. That's not exactly a great guess, I'd say. But this snake is actually mimicking a coral snake. And so she is attempting to mimic a coral snake, not doing a very good job, but I'll get back to that. And so there are multiple different forms of mimicry. If you have some formal education in biology, you may know there are a lot of different forms. But one form that a lot of people are familiar with is actually camouflage. Camouflage is a form of mimicry. And so you're trying to mimic your environment. So there's a couple different ways you can use camouflage. And a couple different ways you can use mimicry in general. So there's aggressive mimicry, and then there's defensive mimicry. So some organisms will use camouflage in a defensive way to try and hide from predators. They'll look like a leaf or a bush or something like that so they can hide from a potential predator. And then some predators will use camouflage so they can hunt their prey. So like leopards and jaguars use that beautiful aposematic pattern so they can hide in the jungle and hunt their prey. But there are a couple more forms of mimicry you may not be familiar with, especially if you haven't gone through as much schooling and specific topics like this. Well, one of those is Batesian or Batesian mimicry. I go back and forth on that. I looked it up on Google how to pronounce it multiple times throughout my education. It's just both. So Batesian mimicry is the mimicry that this one is trying to pull off. It's wherein a non-venomous or less dangerous animal tries to mimic a dangerous animal. And so that makes it a form of deceptive mimicry, another adjective to use there to describe mimicry. So they're trying to deceive the prey. They're lying to the predators, saying, "I'm actually dangerous. Don't bite me. Don't eat me." But in reality, of course, this snake is harmless. It's not going to bite me and inject me with venom. But there's also what do you call it? Not deceptive. It's honest mimicry. So you're not lying to your predators or any potential animal that interacts with this animal. And that mimicry applies to Mullerian mimicry, or Mullerian mimicry. It's got that little accent on the U. So Mullerian mimicry is when a bunch of organisms that are actually poisonous or venomous will look like each other so they can communicate to predators, hey, if anything looks like us, you're going to die, basically, or you're going to have a bad time. And so a lot of butterfly species will do that. A lot of different species that are poisonous, like dart frogs, will do that as well. So they're known for that. But there's a secret third option, if you didn't know. There's M-Slayan mimicry. Something that a lot of people don't know about, even if you know a good amount about mimicry, is M-Slayan mimicry. And so it's a theorized form of mimicry, wherein a less venomous, or a very venomous animal will mimic a less dangerous animal. So it'll actually be mimicking an intermediate. So the non-venomous animals will also be mimicking that intermediate as well. So it's harder to understand than the other ones, but I'll give you an example. So coral snakes are very venomous. Many of them will kill any prey that bites them or tries to eat them. And so this proposed form of mimicry is trying to explain away the fact that anything that tries to eat these animals dies. So how are these predators actually learning not to eat these animals? And so this proposed form of mimicry states that the very venomous coral snakes and other animals are actually trying to mimic an intermediate, less venomous, but not wholly non-venomous animal, so that the predator, in this case, is learning from that interaction and not just dying right out. And so am slaying mimicry, is what I was talking about there. But you can see Condiment here's really trying to get around my arm here. If you don't know much about Nelson's milk snakes, they're native to Guatemala and Mexico. And you may look up Nelson's milk snake and think that they're all supposed to look like this, but they're actually not. This is an albino Nelson's milk snake. And so she's actually not doing a very good job of mimicking a coral snake, because most coral snakes don't look like this, and especially the ones that she's trying to mimic in her range don't look anything like this, because she has albino, so she has those pink eyes, she has a lack of pigment. I'll bring the snake over closer to you so you can check that out, those pink eyes and that beautiful pigment. I'll bring it closer to the camera as well so you all can see this beautiful snake. Again, her name is Condiment. And so, she's not doing a great job, but as I talk more about Condiment, I'm going to pass out a couple papers here, and I want you to guess which of these snakes is actually a milk snake versus a coral snake. So these are all milk snakes or coral snakes except for the last one. I'll give you that hint. That the last one down there at the bottom right is not actually a coral snake or a milk snake. And to you guys, you can guess too. And there you are. And I'll let you think about that while I'm talking, and then I'll show the camera this one as well, so you guys can see and maybe guess if you can see it on Facebook Live there. And yeah, if you didn't know, we're recording this on Facebook Live, so if you want to check out these talks afterwards, you want to check out the 2 previous talks and the next few talks we're going to be doing this week, you can check it out at 3 p.m. or when it's posted on Facebook too. And so I'll talk a bit more about Condiment here. She is a beautiful Nelson's milk snake, one of 23 subspecies of milk snakes. And so, because they are in the genus Lampropeltis triangulum nelsoni is their species name, they are actually a king snake. They are related to king snakes, at least. And so, they actually will eat rodents and amphibians and all sorts of different random things that'll fit in their mouth in the wild. But they'll also eat snakes, including venomous snakes, including coral snakes, the ones they're trying to mimic, which is, I thought, pretty interesting, and they have some venom resistance, or a lot of venom resistance to those venomous snakes in their range, which is pretty cool. So does anybody have any guesses as to which of those snakes is a harmless, non-venomous milk snake? I'll give you a hint, okay? So the mnemonic that a lot of people use is red touches yellow, kill a fellow. Red touches black, friend of Jack. That may help you in guessing which of these snakes is actually non-venomous. Does anybody have any initial guesses so far as to which one may be a milk snake? So they're saying number 4, this one right here, is a milk snake. Any other guesses? None so far? Okay. You think number 3? So that would be this one here. Is a milk snake? Okay. Well, I can't blame you for thinking any of those are milk snakes. I did trick you completely. So all of them are coral snakes, except for the last one. Like I said, this one is a viper species here. But they are all coral snakes. They're all venomous. And so that mnemonic, red touches yellow, kill a fellow, red touches black, friend of Jack, does not work outside the United States. These snakes are all native to Central and South America. And so if you're going there, if you see a snake that looks anything like Condiment or any of the snakes you see on those images, definitely would not pick it up or get anywhere near it, because there's really no easy way to tell whether it's a coral snake or not. And of course, there are aberrant colorations. So just like Condiment here, she is albino. If you find an albino or a melanistic snake in the wild, it may look vastly different than it's supposed to. And so it may look like Condiment. It may just be all black. So recently there was a coral snake that was found in Florida that was just completely black, and that's not the first one that's been found like that. And then there's a few that just have their stripes all over their body, and they just look really weird. And so if you don't know what a snake is, wouldn't pick it up at all. And of course, if it looks like this, I'd say there's a higher chance that you have of picking up a venomous snake. So definitely wouldn't pick one up that looks like this. You can see she's waving that tongue around. Of course, just like all snakes do, if you don't know. She's waving that tongue around. Yeah, she's waving to you with her tongue, and yes, it's her sense of smell. So she uses that to smell the air. And so they pick up those scent particles with that tongue, and it's forked because it helps them sense direction. And so they'll detect more of that scent on one side of their tongue, and they'll be able to tell where to go based on that. And so, I love white bone milk snakes. They're my favorite, but of course, condiment is my second favorite. That's a Nelson's milk snake. There are 23 different subspecies. One of them live in Kentucky, the eastern milk snake, if you're familiar. Look a lot different than these. All the different kinds of milk snakes can look very differently from one another. But yeah, they also live here in Kentucky. But there are no coral snakes in Kentucky. So the snake that they're actually trying to mimic does not live here, which is interesting. But back to M-Slane mimicry, actually. It's just a theorized form of mimicry. So there are proposed mechanisms like observational learning. So some prey species may get preyed upon by some predators, and then those predators see that those predators that preyed upon those prey species that were venomous died, and we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should just avoid eating that because it's going to kill me. And then another proposed mechanism is actually innate learning. So those prey that get eaten kill those predators, and then those predators die, and then over time it's a genetic mutation. It's just that the genetic code learns over time to avoid that snake or whatever else it may be. But yeah, camouflage and all sorts of different mimicry doesn't evolve overnight. They don't just decide, hey, I'm going to look like a leaf. It's obviously not a conscious decision. They don't say, I'm going to look like a leaf today. But it's a genetic mutation. Well, it's many genetic mutations that take millions of years to develop over time. So, yeah, it's a very long and drawn-out process. But you can see some really cool forms of mimicry in insects as well as snakes too. Anybody have any questions? So far? Okay, cool. Well, I don't think I have any more for y'all today, but I hope you'll enjoy the talk so far. So I'll just bring her around one more time. You can get a nice close look at Condiment here. Of course, her name is Condiment because she looks like mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup. That is the scientific reason why. Of course, our interns are very familiar with Condiment. She's very sweet. Okay. And I'll show the camera as well. So that's my talk on mimicry. I hope you all enjoyed on Facebook Live and in person as well. There will be a lot more snake talks this week. I know that tomorrow Hannah is giving a presentation on king snake ecology. And so you all can check that out tomorrow at 3 p.m. either on Facebook Live or in person, of course. And so we'll be giving some more talks this week as well if you're interested. But that's all. I hope you all enjoyed. My name is Harrison again. Have a great day, guys.